was because initially...
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom.
Hi everyone, today I'm going to be doing a try to get ready with me, like my ears. I'm going to be telling you about haunted places that I have worked at. Because I've worked at 3 haunted places. First, I'm going to start with my L'Oreal Hydragenius Moisturizer. I like to put it on my lips, because my lips always get chapped. So, the first place that I worked at that is haunted, I'm going to go from recent to past. Because I had some stuff recently, I had like literally my last week on at work. So the place I currently work, our office is haunted AF. Like honestly, like we had one really slow night. Me and my coworker, we were walking around and we got a stupid little ghost hunting app. And I'm almost positive that shit's fake. But it was weird because of where it detected the ghost. Everybody says that's where they've seen shit. So I'm like, maybe it's an accurate app. But maybe not. In case you're wondering, it's literally just called Ghost Hunter, like that's all it's called. But it's supposedly you can talk to it and all that stuff, but I don't know how much I believe it. That was a Too Faced Hangover RX primer. The stuff that's happened, I've seen stuff, but not as crazy as like some of the stuff that they've seen. So basically, our office, like, there's a whole back, but there's obviously a receptionist desk where there's a waiting room because we do both mental health and physical health. So there's like a waiting room and then there's a reception desk. Well, that's where everything goes on, is in the waiting room and behind the reception desk. And it's always around like 2. It's always that time, which is like so weird. So basically they've all seen something. There isn't a single person in our office, including our manager, who has not seen anything, because everyone that I work with, even day shift, they've at least covered a night shift. So the foundation I'm gonna use, I don't know what I'm gonna use. Okay, my Urban Decay All Nighter foundation. But in 2 ways. Oh wait, first I gotta use my concealer. I'm gonna use my concealer and cover up my little breakout stuff that's going on right here. But anyways, basically what they see, Rimmel Match Perfection Concealer, is it kind of starts off, everybody's seeing shadows. Like, we'll see shadows out of the corner of our eye when we walk down there, because there's a bathroom down there and there's like a fridge and stuff like that where so our room is like kind of like far from the receptionist desk, but we have to walk down there if we want to get food out of the fridge or if someone's in the bathroom by our rooms. So yeah. But anyway, like you'll walk by and it's like you'll see like almost like someone's walking around in the waiting room under the corner of your eye, and it's the creepiest shit I've ever seen in my life. One of my coworkers, she said, and she also went to school with me, so like we know each other really well. So we were the first people to be like, yeah, I've been seeing shit, am I crazy? And then one of our coworkers was like, nah fam, we've all seen that. Basically, she said that she almost saw, like, you know how kind of like when you're about to walk around a corner, you'll kind of grab the wall? Like she saw someone's hand like around the corner, and I was like, ooh, fuck. No, no, no. I haven't seen the hand, only she has, but I've like literally like seen like shadows like out of the corner of my eye walking around in the waiting room. And I was like, fuck no, I'm not leaving the fucking CMT room for the rest of the night. I'm done. I'm just taking that on my fingers and applying it with my hands. So, what my coworkers have seen though, there's like a door right by the receptionist desk to the break room where the fridge is and all that stuff. And so while one of the CMTs was in there heating up her food, literally the door into the break room slammed shut. Like she's just standing there chilling, just heating up her food, you know, about to have some pasta, like excited, and then whah, like the door slammed shut. She said that oh, and this is BS Mall blending brush. Sorry, I had to close my mouth for that part. But then some other people told me things that were like along the line of the same story. And then I said, oh, did you hear that happened to so-and-so? Like, I'm not gonna say her name on the video, but, and then they're like, what? No, she never told me that happened. I thought that was the only one that happened to. And then like, as I worked there longer and longer, I would hear very similar stories from different people. So I was like, fuck, this shouldn't be real. I refused to go to that break room. So like if I have anything that's refrigerated, I will literally ask my team member to go get it for me. And then I'll heat it up in the microwave in our CMT room because I'm like, oh fuck, no, I ain't going in there. Basically what happened when we were on the app, which I don't know if I believe it or not, to be honest with you. We went in like to the room behind the receptionist desk. We didn't go into the waiting room because yo bitch was too much of a scaredy cat for that shit. Then but I stood behind the desk, and it said there was a spirit detected. So then it pops up and it shows a little outline of a spirit basically, and then it'll tell you if it's a demon, a friendly spirit, a vengeful spirit, whatever kind of happy shit it wants to tell you basically is what I believe. We start talking to it, and you type it in. This is why I don't believe it. It's like you type it in and then it's supposedly translating what the spirit or whatever you want to call it is saying to you, from like whatever language it speaks or whatever. So basically what it told me, because I asked her, oh, so it said it was a demon. When it said presence detected, it said it was a demon, not the presence itself, but the ghost detector app. And it said, so I asked, I was like, what's your name? And then it said, my name is Arlene. And then my friend types in, how did you die? And then it said, a plane crash. And I said, why are you here? And then she said, I'm stuck. And then I was like, why are you stuck? And then she said trapped, like just the word trapped. And then my friend types in, who trapped you here? And she said, Satan. And then that's when I said, goodbye, I have to go to work. And she said, no, stay. And I said, goodbye. And I closed the app because I was not about to not say goodbye. Because I know that shit ain't a Ouija board, but still I follow that rule. I always say goodbye if I communicate with the spirit, like, or even if I think, even if it's fake, like, I don't take that, I didn't really take the app seriously. Like, I'm pretty sure it was all just something that is generated that to entertain people, but I don't care. Even if it's fake, I'll look stupid and say goodbye before I get possessed by Arlene, okay? So now it's like this running joke in our office, like we're just like, oh shit, did Arlene slam the door again? Like, oh, did Arlene make her appearance? Like, so yeah, that's that's where what's going on in my office basically, is slamming doors and shadows. And it's great because I work the night shift, which means I'm there during the double hour, so that's awesome, right? And I just took my Rimmel Match Perfection concealer and brightened the center of my face. So now I'm going to take, yeah, I'm going to I had to think about what I was doing. I'm going to take my Maybelline Better Skin Super Stay Setting Powder and set my face. So the other place I worked at that was haunted was Golf and Stuff. If you live in Tucson, you know what Golf and Stuff is. But if you happen to live in Phoenix, Arizona, you definitely know what Castles and Coasters is, because it's like the only amusement park in Phoenix. Basically, it's the same company as that. It's just called Golf and Stuff in Tucson. I used to do pull down, which is basically we go in after the park closes for the night, or you stay late, depending on if you work that day or not. I usually didn't work that day because it was a Thursday. I just went for the extra couple hours every week. And we go in and we take all the tokens out of the games and we count them just to see how often the game's being used and if it's worth keeping, or if we should maybe sell it and buy another game because it's just not making enough money. It's not being played enough and it's running up our electricity bill, sort of thing, you know what I mean? So I'm doing pull down, and at this point I had not heard any ghost stories from anybody yet. No, my manager didn't tell me the stuff she's seen. My other manager didn't tell me the stuff that he's seen. So my manager, who has also never seen anything, is doing pull down with me because he's the one that's in charge of pull down. And he, at the beginning when we start, one of us always go, actually, I shouldn't even say, he always goes outside because I'm a paranoid little bitch, and so he'll do like the batting cages and stuff because those take tokens. So he goes outside and I'm sitting there, there's like a middle aisle and then another aisle of games, and then like right across from those games is a bathroom. The bathroom is very important in this story. So I'm in the middle aisle pulling tokens. Oh, Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer and Light Bronze. And basically I'm sitting there, I'm pulling my tokens, listening to my music, jamming out, you know, minding my own business, and I hear almost like someone threw tokens in the aisle by the bathroom. And I said, haha, that's funny, John. Like I thought he was trying to freak me out because it was close to Halloween. And I didn't get a response. And there's just like, John didn't get a response. And he comes back in, and I go, did you come inside at any point? And he goes, no, why? And I was like, I heard someone throw tokens. And he goes, oh, by the bathroom? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, that bathroom's haunted. And he told me, and he doesn't really know if this was paranormal or if this was just some fucking creepy person that shouldn't have been there at the time, but he said that one night he was doing pull down with one of our former coworkers, and they both saw someone, because we have a golf window, they saw like a shadow of someone walk by outside, and then John went to go check and see if the guy was there, and he wasn't. There was literally no one outside, which is impossible. They couldn't have gone that far within how quickly like he went outside. And then I was like, oh god. And then so he ended up pulling that aisle because I was too much of a little bitch to like go over there by the bathroom. I told my other manager, Ashley, I told her about what happened. And she goes, oh yeah, that bathroom's haunted. And I'm like, what do you mean it's haunted? And basically what she told me was that one night her and one of the ride operators, I think it was a supervisor, I don't know if he was a supervisor or a regular ride operator, but whatever, he was gonna clock out. They were gonna clock out, and right as they were about to, because we still have punch cards there, right as they were about to like punch their card, they heard like the door just like whoosh, because when it's quiet at night you can hear it open and close. And so they thought there was somebody in there maybe, so they're like, oh shit, did we like lock someone in the building? So they went over to, oh, and I used the Balm highlight and contour palette to highlight. And so they went over to check to see if somebody was, I'm just dropping everything, if somebody was still in there. So the ride operator, he goes and he walks in, he's like, there's nobody in either bathroom, like, I don't know what that was. And they go, okay. And Ashley goes, okay. So they walk back and they're about to put their cards in again, and they hear this blood curdling scream from the bathroom, like it sounded like a child, and they didn't even think about it. They just ran over there because they thought someone was hurt, and there's nobody in the bathroom. And I was like, oh, I would have quit that day if I were there. I would have been like, goodbye, I'll go work at Aeropostale again. I can't do this shit. Oh, so I'm gonna set my powders and all that with my Pixie Grow Sweater spray. And then my other manager, he told me, not the one that was working pull down with me, but another manager that I have, because we have like multiple managers that'll be on duty, obviously, because it makes sense, right? Okay, so anyway, anyway, he said that, sorry, I'm trying to like move my tripod right now without knocking everything over, just give me like 1 second. So he told me that the token thing has happened to him too, because he used to do pull down with my one manager that would do pull down with, that I would do pull down with. And he said that he would hear tokens being thrown in that same aisle when he would be pulling out tokens from other games. And I was like, oh fuck no. So needless to say, Caitlin never did pull down again the second, because I told John, I was like, I can't, I'm literally so full of anxiety the entire time I'm doing pull down. And so the second they found someone to replace me, I was done. I was like, nope, never again. I ain't trying to hang out with Ghosty during pull down, no thank you. So yeah, that was golf and stuff. And then the last place I worked at that was haunted was Wet n Wild. And so if you live in like Hawaii, or I think LA and Vegas has one, you know what I'm talking about. But mine was Wet n Wild Phoenix, because that's where I used to live. I lived in Phoenix. So basically one night, and this was right when was it The Conjuring that Hide and Clap was in? It was right when that movie came out. We, as a bonding thing, basically our head guard, was it our head guard? I think it was just a super. It was probably just a supervisor. But basically we turned out all the lights in the park and we played hide and clap. This is the scariest night of my life, guys. I'm like not even kidding. This is one of my worst memories ever. So I'm using my EOS lip balm. So, this was the first experience I had. We turn off the lights, and I'm hiding. And, you know how they'll say to clap when they're, and so I heard someone tell me to clap, and I clapped. And then someone touched me on the shoulder, and I was like, oh, you found me, and I thought it was a person, and nobody was fucking there. I heard them to tell someone to clap like 10 or 15 feet away. And I almost died. I literally just walked out, and I was like, okay, you found me, and like, they're like, why'd you do that? And then I wouldn't tell them because I thought they were all gonna think I was crazy. I looked around the whole area that I was hiding in, like, it wasn't one of the other guards just fucking with me. This is my Buxom Blushing Margarita lip gloss. So I'm gonna take my Urban Decay Browbeater pencil in the color taupe and outline my brows. So, the other stuff that happened was really minor though. It was like, we would have to stay at night. I always worked night shifts. I rarely ever worked a day shift there. The closest thing I did to day shift often was we would have a mid shift that was like 8 to 10, but then I'd just stay till midnight. Basically, while I was cleaning, there's like this little area that we have to take the tubes to. And usually there's like multiple people there because like we're all bringing tubes back that like people just left laying around. But like I started cleaning early because I ended up being out of the rotation like right before we closed. So I started cleaning early, and so I took some tubes over to that closet area thing, and a bunch of them, like I walked in and a bunch of them fell over, but it was like, it wasn't like they just fell over. It was like someone pushed like 2 or 3 of them and then the whole pile fell. It was like, you would just have to see the motion of it to like understand. And it was like clearly forcefully pushed over. It wasn't like they just, you know, somehow came off of balance and fell. Like it was clearly like forcefully pushed. And so I was just like, ugh. So I literally stacked the tubes as fast as I could and just walked out of there and like started picking up trash. I was like, fuck those tubes. I ain't going in there until someone else is in there. I looked around and there was nobody in there. I just was like, ah, you knocked them over, but no one was in there. And I was like, oh, fuck that shit. I'm leaving. I'm going. Goodbye. And then that happened a couple times to like a few guards, actually. And it happened to me multiple times. I had a friend that worked in the cafe as like a cook, and I was helping him clean one night. We were sitting in there, and there's like a freezer door that like you have to push it open for it to open, like from the inside. Like something has to put force on it or it won't open. We're sitting there like putting all the produce into the bins it needs to be in before we put it back in the refrigerator. We thought someone was in the freezer because you could hear it start to like open. And he's like, oh, I didn't see anybody go in there. And I was like, oh, okay, well, probably one of the chefs or something was like putting something back in there. He's like, yeah. And then it pushes, like it swings open and then swings shut, and literally nobody came out of it. So we're like, that was weird. So we went to check and make sure that like everything was like okay, like there wasn't someone stuck in there or something. And then, oh, and I just took the Essence Make Me Brow and Blondie Brows. And so we walk in there and there's literally no one in there, like, which makes no sense because that will not open from the inside unless something pushes on it, like gives force on it. So we like finished putting away the produce so fast. Oh my god, it was so scary. When I worked for Devereaux, I used to work in a respite thing where children like from the ages 4 to 17 would come for the weekend and get basically a break. These are kids with mental health diagnoses who have trauma that just kind of need a break from their life and to come have fun for a weekend. And so one of the houses, which of course it's the one 30 minutes away from the other 2 houses. That house, there was a maintenance guy that fell off the roof and had died like long before it was a respite house. When we used to have it used to be like our crisis center. Indirect experiences I had there aren't as creepy. The direct one though really freaked me out. But every single DCP that's worked over there has had an experience there. So basically, we got this email once from our boss telling us like, hey, you need to make sure you lock the doors. I texted them, I was like, I swear I locked those doors. And then one of them goes, yeah, I know, this has happened to me twice now. I've never not locked a door in the other houses. Like, I swear to you, the ghost is unlocking them. And I go, what do you mean the ghost? Because that weekend happened to be the first weekend I ever closed a house and like worked by myself with the kids. So I'm like, you telling me I cleaned for 3 hours in a house with a ghost watching me? Like, so I'm using the Stila Matte and Metal eyeshadow palette. So they told me like a lot of their experiences, and basically what's been common with all of them is the door unlocking, locking, all that stuff. Well, everybody has told me that house like before anyone even said. So I'm just taking the color Vintage, which is this color. Before anyone even said anything to them, they would have creepy experiences. Like, they kind of just always feel like someone's watching them, and like the kids have said it too. The kids think that house is really creepy, and like obviously we don't tell them we think it's creepy because we don't want to have to deal with them being like, oh, I can't sleep, the ghost, you know what I mean? So why would we tell them that, you know? And we'll always go, oh no, it's fine, don't worry. But on the inside we're like, I know, man, I know it's creepy. I'm gonna go in with Fringe now. Sorry, it's like an orangey color. Basically what the other DCPs told me is like they've heard shit, but like they couldn't really make out what the sounds were, all that kind of stuff. And so fast forward to, I think the weekend before my last weekend there, we had one weekend where there wasn't as many kids as normal, so we closed that house for that weekend, the haunted one. And basically what happened was, when they do that, they want the DCPs that are supposed to be at that house for the weekend to deep clean it that Friday night, because there won't be any kids there that Friday night. There's just going to be day kids. Me and my coworker spent like our whole 10-hour shift just deep cleaning the house. And so towards the end, literally right when we were about to leave and go to the other house, the main house, to clock out, because we had taken the van, so like driving back is still our time, you know, paid time. We're sitting there, and so she had just finished hosing off like the like patio, if you want to call it that. It was like just a bunch of brick in the backyard. She just finished hosing that off, and so she wanted to put her socks in the dryer because her shoes and her socks got wet. But she didn't want to put her shoes in the dryer because like that would have taken it forever and it would have taken away from the socks drying, and she really just wanted her socks to be dry. I'm going to take my Modern Renaissance palette, and I'm going to use Red Ochre for my outer corner. So, we're sitting there just talking, waiting for her socks to dry. And I just see her eyes. I hear the dryer, like, basically stop making noise. Like, you know how when dryers are going, like, you know, like, you can just hear it, like, going. I hear the dryer suddenly stop making noise, and that little, like, when the door opens, and I just see her eyes get, like, and I just go, I know that dryer. I know that that dryer did not just pop open on its own. And I'm taking a little bit of Venetian red as well. And she goes, it did. And I was like, okay, let's get your socks and let's set the alarm and get the fuck out of here. I ended up not working in that house my last weekend, but oh my god, that was so scary. So terrifying. I was like, fuck to the no, no, no. Like, oh my god, it was so terrifying. So yeah, it was also very haunted there. Good times, you know. What's funny is I worked in that house so many times, like my first month there, and I never had any experiences. And then literally my last weekend, you know, Ghost decided to give one little last scare to me before I left. We cleaned literally from like 1 or 2, I think, till like 10 at night. And this motherfucker decided he needed to get one last scare in before I left, you know. I'm just gonna take this big fluffy blending brush and blend that all out, make less seamless lines, it should feel. But yeah, those are the haunted places I worked at. If you guys have worked at any haunted places, please, or you've worked at like the same place, because like Wet n Wild Phoenix and Castles and Coasters, like they hire a ton of people. So like I'd love to know if you've like worked, even if you worked at like different Wet n Wild locations, but if you worked at Castles and Coasters, I'd love to know if you've worked there, because that'd be cool, because I'd be like, oh, I remember you know. So now I'm gonna take this little pinky color in the Stila palette, and that is Retro. Yeah, Retro. So yeah, those are the haunted places I worked at. I lived in a haunted house and worked at haunted places. Isn't it lovely? I just want to talk to you guys about this really cool thing I saw. Loie Lane was talking about it, so I looked it up. and I asked my boyfriend for it for Christmas because I just think it's the coolest thing ever. He thinks it's a scam, but I think it's so cool. But it's basically called a Boo Buddy, and I'll put the picture right here. And it's a little teddy bear that has EMF readers, motion detection, like all this stuff in it. It's a little ghost hunting teddy bear, and it's the coolest thing. Sorry, my dogs just jumped off and went to go play. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I want it in my life like tomorrow. It's like, it is $300. It's pretty pricey, so I'm gonna do my research and watch some more videos on it before I just decide to go buy it. And you know what I mean, like, and then it's a ripoff and then it sucks. So yeah, but I think it's a really cool thing. And I'm gonna use Vermeer for my inner corner highlight. Look how much pan I'm hitting in this palette, guys. Like, I'm kind of hoping that they start to make these two as a single shadow, because anyway, it's the cutest little thing, and like, I honestly want it to like take it to work with me, so when we have slow nights we can ghost hunt with it. It'll talk, like, it'll ask the questions for you, and it'll respond to all like the motion, like all that stuff. I think it's the coolest shit ever. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was cool. So if you are like wanting some sort of recommendation on who to watch for like scary stories, because like, you know how you can those like accounts that will like read creepypasta stories, my Clinique High Impact Lash, that what it's called? Yeah, lash elevating mascara, and do my eyelashes. Oh, I'm missing a brow bone color. Let me do that real quick. B Busta, and he has this whole like, you can just look up, I think he'll pop up. I'm not sure who will pop up first, but if you look up B Busta scary Halloween stories, you can actually listen to scary stories like that happen to people on Halloween and like all this stuff. But just in general, he tells really good scary stories that people send to him. So now that I'm done with my mascara, I'm gonna take my Urban Decay, if I can find it, my Vice Liquid lipstick in Hex, and this is their Vice Mega Matte. That was weird, my Mega Matte. So this is just a really pretty, just a really pretty burgundy lip color. And obviously, I'm not the like most even lipstick applier ever, but I do what I can. I hope you guys are having a wonderful spooky month. Hope you enjoyed the stories. Please tell me yours. I'd love to hear them. And see you next time. Bye.